the hell? You know how when you open a browser on your phone, I don't know about you, but mine gives me top stories. And I saw something that I want to share. If you live in North Carolina and you're barely making any money, do not go out to eat at any restaurant. They'll get you. Well, I just read this headline. North Carolina restaurant adding 20% fair wage service fee to every bill.
What?
So I went on my internet and I looked it up, and apparently it's a big enough story that, look, right here on the top, Chicago's covering the story as well. Damn. Alright, well, as you can see, North Carolina restaurant adding 20% fair wage service fee to every bill. Let's see, will it play a video? No, okay. A restaurant in Durham, North Carolina, says it is now paying employees a fair wage, but is passing the cost on to the customer. Is that fair? I don't think it is. Pizzeria Toro added a 20% gratuity called a fair wage service fee to every bill for dine-in customers. The receipt will also have a message saying, seen and unseen hourly wage workers are the backbone of the restaurant. Let's see if this video tells us anything. Alright, come on.
The Cary man accused of murdering his former employee is now in custody.
Investigators in Franklin County say 45-year-old Bradley Hines was arrested.
Why would they put that there? Why would they put this story? Okay, WGN, you're screwing up. I guess, is there a video for this? No. You know what? Hold on. There's gotta be one with the video. Fox 5 San Diego covered it. Where's the one that I saw here? Fox 59. Okay, let's see what Fox 59. Here we go. I saw a video on my phone, which is why I'm doing this here story. Alright, same headline out of Indianapolis, Fox 59. See, wow, it's covered everywhere. Alright, come on, load this video. Alright, come on. I have a slow connection here, my bad. I'm out in the rural-ass North Carolina where there's nothing but trees and roads. Come on. Alright, well, while that's loading... okay. Gray Brooks is a chief and one of the owners of Pizzeria Toro. He said some prep cooks and dishwashers had to work 2 jobs. Well, I could see that. When I was a dishwasher for Outback, I didn't have that many hours and my pay was shit. I could see how they could work 2 jobs. Oh, here we go. Come on, sound. Come on. Sound up. Why aren't you playing? Really? Do I have to let you buffer a bit? Here we go. Play.
It is now paying employees a fair wage.
But a CBS.
Come on! I could read it faster and that's going to buffer. Alright. He sees the fee as a way to close the wage gap between staff who traditionally did not make tips and those who did. The restaurant business is such a slim margin business. We were paying them as much as we could, and it wasn't enough, Brooks said.
17's Gilad Melamed reports customers could be left with a bigger bill. She explains why from downtown Durham.
Nick and Maggie, it's called a fair wage service fee. Customers here at Pizzeria Toro will have a 20% gratuity added to their bill with this message on the bottom saying seen and unseen workers are the backbone of the restaurant.
The nice thing is it's just kind of knowing that no matter what, we're going to get a certain amount every time that we work.
For bartender Arturo Sanchez,
they know they're going to get a certain amount every time they work. That's called an hourly wage. You know you're going to get how much you make at the end of your shift. Minus taxes, of course.
says that means a cut of the 20% fair wage service fee.
Make enough money to pay your bills and have a little extra left over week by week.
Owner Gray Brooks says some prep cooks and dishwashers had to work
to pay the bills and have a little bit over each week. But where's it coming from? Not your pocket, Mr. Owner. It's coming from those who you are serving food to. Not only they have to pay your high prices for the food, but now you're going to force them to pay 20%? I thought tip was like, if your server is a decent server, you give them 20%. If they're an okay server, maybe 15%. If they're a shitty server, you don't tip them. Now, they can just be rude to you and they just know they're going to get part of a tip.
Jobs. He sees the fee as a way to close the wage gap between staff who traditionally did not make tips.
The restaurant business is just such a slim margin business. We were paying them as much as we could, and it wasn't enough. And
as much as you could, and it wasn't enough. Raise your wages. Or cry to the government because there's the reasons why you're not making money, because most places had to shut down. Don't force the citizens who are already suffering, don't force them to pay your employees. Do it yourself.
Sort of take that extra income and spread it out so that everybody was making enough to make a living.
Sanchez already made tips as a bartender. He says closing the gap means he could end up with a little less some days, but it's a trade-off because he won't be shortchanged on an off night.
A little bit of a decrease in terms.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, on an off night when your service isn't good enough? You're not going to please everybody. You know what I'm saying? Some days, you're going to get nothing but down people. It's called Monday. People aren't going to be so thrilled, so that's going to be an off day. Deal with it. It's called life. Why, just because you have a job serving people, do you deserve more than the people you serve?
In terms of what we're bringing home every day, that is going to be sort of mitigated by the and the knowledge that we're sharing those tips with employees all throughout the restaurant.
Brooks says he can...
Okay, sharing it with all throughout the restaurant, I could see that as a valid point. When I was dishwasher, if they were to have this, yeah, it would have helped me a lot because I don't get tips being the ones who does a lot of the work. I'm not saying most of it, but if I don't wash a dish, they don't eat. Just like if the cooks don't cook, they don't eat. The cooks don't get tips either. Now, that part I understand. But if I was there right now, dish pit right now, and our boss said, hey, you're going to be getting extra money because it's coming out of their pockets, I'm going to be like, you're an asshole. Like, you're a dick. Why should they suffer even more just because you don't want to pay me enough?
Considered raising prices by 20% and getting rid of tips, but says he felt this was more transparent. The restaurant is not
okay, hold on. I just missed a little bit of something there.
Expecting additional tips, but says he felt this was
and the knowledge that we're sharing those tips with employees all throughout the restaurant.
Brooks says he considered raising prices by 20%. Felt this was more transparent. The rest
raising prices of food by 20%. Why is it 20%? Why? What's with the 20%? You got that because that's the normal tip. Okay. That's where you got the 20% for your extra bonus fee on the receipts. Okay. But that doesn't translate to raising prices. You don't need to raise prices 20%. Raise your prices 5%. See what that does for a month. Start small and work up. Don't force your customers to pay more money. Well, at least tip-wise. You can raise your prices. If people like your food, they'll come do it. But don't force them to pay a shitty server or to tip a shitty server.
The restaurant is not expecting additional tips. He says there's been some online pushback from people who say they wouldn't tip in the case of bad service, but that done it.
And the back didn't do that. You know, they weren't the people. They're still working hard and doing their job.
According to MIT, the living wage for a single
wait
adult...
Wait a minute. She said if people are doing bad, they shouldn't get tipped, but this way people who don't get tipped... The mind of the sheeple.
In Durham County is $16 an hour, more than double
Wait a minute. Hold up.
the current minimum wage.
Did they just say that they're getting paid $16 an hour?
MIT, the living wage for a single adult in Durham County is $16 an hour, more than double.
They're still working hard and doing their job.
According to MIT, the living wage for a single adult in Durham County is $16 an hour, more than double the current minimum wage.
Oh, the living wage. No, exactly. That's across the country. Living wage is a lot less than minimum wage. I mean, a lot higher than minimum wage, and it ain't right. But that's something that business owners should deal or should get grants from the governments. You know, a grant that you could pay back in the future. Not saying a free handout, but something equitable that you can pay back. Equitable might not be the right word. But you know what I mean? Like, come on. Don't force people who are suffering that need to come to you to eat. Don't force them to pay something that they don't want to pay. Like, I'm sorry. If I could afford to go to a restaurant as a customer, what if the prices on that food item is so high that I can't afford 20% tip? I always leave a tip, regardless. But what if I can't afford 20%? Now I'm going out to eat. Okay. I sit down. I look at the prices on the menu. Okay, I got $15 in my pocket. Alright. I can get a tuna sandwich, cup of coffee, and maybe a side of fries. Perfect. $12. I got this. I get the receipt back, and now there's an extra 20%. It's like, what the fuck? $17? I only have $15. Now you're screwed. Because they force you to pay that 20% tip. Now, with the $12 bill, I could have put my other $3 down as a tip. Why force me out of another 20%? Instead of breaking me, now you're squeezing me. It just doesn't make sense.
The most important thing is just to keep your employees happy, and I think that's really awesome that they're doing that.
Oh,
Sanchez
you would.
says he hopes the practice
Yeah,
spreads
keep
to
your
more
employees.
restaurants.
Yeah, she looked like she had money. She doesn't care about that extra 20%.
The Durham Living Wage Project recognizes businesses that it says pays a living wage. There's about 20 restaurants and breweries on the list.
About 20 restaurants and breweries on the list to add that. If you live in North Carolina and you don't make much money and you're struggling, don't go out to eat. Cook for yourself. Go into my playlist, look at Scrubbalo meals, look at Will It Burrito, and find something cheap to eat. Don't go out to eat. Don't do it. They're gonna, just keep squeezing that wallet of yours. If you got plastic, they're gonna keep just scrapping that shit until you got nothing left. Save your money, cook for your family, and don't go out. And if you do go out, don't make it a restaurant. On that note, peace out.